Spring always felt like magic to Emily. The streets of her small town bloomed with cherry blossoms, and the air carried a soft, warm scent of new beginnings. She loved walking through the park after work, letting the gentle wind brush against her face and listening to birds, chirping in a symphony of life. But this spring felt different. This spring held something or someone unexpected. It began on a Wednesday afternoon. Emily was sitting on a park bench, sketching the blossoms with her small notebook, when she noticed a young man jogging past. He was tall, with dark hair and kind eyes, carrying a canvas bag that seemed heavy. He tripped over a loose stone and fell, scattering papers onto the path. Emily quickly got up to help him. "Are you okay?" she asked, kneeling beside him. He laughed nervously. "I think I'm fine. Just clumsy, I guess. Thank you for helping me." As he gathered the papers, their hands brushed. There was a spark, something fleeting but undeniable, that neither of them could ignore. "Do you draw?" he asked, noticing her notebook. "Yes," Emily said. "I like to capture small moments. Life seems more beautiful when you slow down to notice it." He smiled. "I'm Alex. I paint, but I never slow down enough to notice the beauty. Maybe you could teach me?" And just like that, a connection formed. Over the next few weeks, Emily and Alex met in the park almost every day. They talked about everything: art, dreams, childhood memories, fears, and hopes. Alex showed her his paintings, and Emily shared her sketches. Their laughter filled the park as flowers bloomed around them, as if the world itself approved of their meeting. One afternoon, under a canopy of cherry blossoms, Alex handed Emily a small painting. It was of her sitting on the park bench, sketchbook open, eyes focused and serene. She gasped softly. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "How did you—" "I noticed you every day, Emily. You inspire me to see things differently, to slow down, to live in the moment. I think I'm falling for you." Emily's heart raced. She looked at the painting, then at him. The blossoms swirled around them like confetti. For the first time in years, Emily felt hope, not just for love, but for something more profound, something that could change her life. Spring had brought them together, and the seeds of their love were just beginning to grow. It was tender, fragile, and intoxicating. They walked home together that evening, hands brushing until they intertwined naturally. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold. In that moment, Emily realized that love, like spring, was about beginnings, fresh, bright, and full of possibility. Little did they know, love in spring was only the first chapter. Seasons would change, and with them, their love would face challenges, joys, and lessons that neither of them could yet imagine. But for now it was simple, pure, and beautiful. A new bloom in a world that sometimes felt gray. Summer arrived with a golden blaze. The days were long, hot, and full of light. Emily and Alex's love blossomed further, thriving in the heat of the season. They spent weekends exploring the countryside, swimming in the lake, and lying on the grass, watching clouds drift lazily across the sky. One evening, as the sun dipped low over the horizon, Alex suggested they go to the local fair. The scent of caramel popcorn and cotton candy filled the air, mingling with the distant sound of laughter and music. They walked hand in hand, completely lost in each other. "You know," Alex said, stopping near the Ferris wheel, "I never believed in summer romances. I thought they were fleeting. But with you, I feel like time itself slows down." Emily smiled, her heart beating fast. "I feel the same way. I never knew love could feel this alive." They rode the Ferris wheel together, high above the town, holding each other close. The world seemed to shrink, leaving only them in a bubble of warmth and light. When they reached the top, Alex leaned in, brushing his lips against hers. It was soft at first, then urgent, passionate, a kiss that spoke of longing, desire, and an unspoken promise of forever. Summer intensified everything. Their love became a whirlwind of emotions, laughter and teasing, gentle touches and fiery passion. They explored not just the world, but each other's hearts, discovering the small quirks, dreams, and secrets that made them unique. Every touch seemed electric, every glance a silent vow. One night, as they lay on a blanket under a sky full of stars, Emily rested her head on Alex's chest. "I never want this to end," she whispered. Alex stroked her hair. "Neither do I. Summer will fade, but I want us to carry this feeling into every season." And for a while, it seemed like nothing could touch them. The days were endless, the nights magical, and their hearts intertwined more deeply with each passing moment. Summer, with all its heat and intensity, had shaped their love into something bold, fearless and passionate. But as the first hints of autumn crept in, the cool mornings, the golden leaves, Emily felt a twinge of worry. Change was coming. Seasons always change, and love, no matter how strong, must weather them. Yet, in the heart of summer, neither of them could imagine the challenges that awaited, nor the depths of commitment their love would require. Autumn arrived quietly, with a crispness in the air that made Emily pull her scarf a little tighter. The cherry blossoms of spring and the golden sun of summer were replaced by amber leaves, drifting from the trees, creating carpets of color on the sidewalks. The season of change had come, and with it, the first real tests of Emily and Alex's love. Life, which had seemed so simple in spring and summer, suddenly demanded attention. Alex received news that his art exhibition would be held in another city, requiring him to travel for months. Emily, tied to her job and her family obligations, felt a pang of worry. They had always been together, sharing every laugh, every sunset, every small joy. But now distance threatened to stretch the bond they had built so carefully. On a rainy afternoon, Emily stood at the train station, clutching Alex's hand. "I don't want to say goodbye," she whispered, her voice trembling. Alex held her close. "I don't want to leave either, but this is important. It's a chance for my art to reach more people, for us to have a future we've dreamed of. Can we trust that what we have will last?" Tears welled in her eyes, but she nodded. "We'll make it work. We always do." The first weeks apart were difficult. Texts and video calls helped, but they could not replace the comfort of being together. Emily missed his laughter, his brush-stained hands, the way he would hold her hand absent-mindedly while they walked. Alex, too, felt the emptiness of her absence, the longing to hear her voice in the quiet nights of the hotel room. Arguments came more easily now. A missed call, a delayed message, or a misunderstood tone led to moments of frustration. Autumn seemed to mirror their emotions. Beautiful, yet unpredictable, full of change. They learned slowly that love was not just about passion and warmth. It was also about patience, forgiveness, and understanding. One Sunday, as the wind scattered orange leaves across the park where they had first met, Emily and Alex met again. It had been weeks since their last proper meeting, and the distance had tested them both. They stood silently for a moment, watching leaves tumble to the ground before Alex spoke. "I hate that this distance is making things hard," he said quietly. "But I also know that every challenge makes us stronger if we face it together." Emily reached out, her fingers brushing his. "I've learned that love isn't just about being close. It's about trusting each other, even when we're apart." They embraced under the amber trees, holding on tightly as if to keep the autumn winds from carrying them away. In that embrace, they found reassurance. Not that life would be easy, but that they would endure. Autumn, with all its changes and uncertainties, taught them that love was a choice, made each day through effort and care. By the time the leaves had fallen completely, Emily and Alex had grown in ways they hadn't imagined. The season of challenges had deepened their bond. They realized that love was not just the thrill of new beginnings or the heat of summer passion. It was the quiet strength that carried them through separation, doubt, and fear. And so, as the last golden leaf fell, they walked home together, hand in hand, ready to face whatever winter would bring. Because now, more than ever, they knew that their love was resilient, rooted and enduring. Winter arrived with a quiet intensity. Frosted mornings painted the town in shades of silver, and snow dusted the rooftops like powdered sugar. Emily loved the beauty of it, the way the world seemed to pause under a blanket of cold, but she also felt the season's weight. Winter was harsh, and so was life. Alex's exhibition had ended successfully, and he had returned home. But the excitement of summer and the lessons of autumn gave way to the realities of daily life. Work pressures, family obligations, and lingering uncertainties tested their relationship in ways neither had expected. For the first time, love required more than passion or longing. It required endurance, patience, and the quiet choice to stay committed even when life was difficult. One evening, as snow fell gently outside Emily's window, she and Alex sat together with mugs of steaming cocoa. The warmth of the fire contrasted sharply with the chill outside. Alex looked at her, his expression serious. "I've been thinking," he said. "Love isn't just about the beautiful moments. It's about the hard ones too. About standing together when it's cold, when it's uncomfortable, when life isn't easy." Emily nodded, her fingers intertwined with his. "I know, I've been scared too. Scared that we might drift apart because life is so busy, so unpredictable. But I don't want to give up on us. Winter tested them in small ways at first: missed appointments, forgotten plans, and the exhaustion of daily routines. But each challenge reminded them of what they truly valued. They learned to communicate more openly, to listen with patience, and to appreciate the small gestures that kept love alive: a hand on the shoulder, a note left on the kitchen counter, a shared cup of cocoa after a long day. One snowy morning, Emily awoke to find Alex kneeling beside her bed, holding a small box. Inside was a delicate silver necklace, simple yet elegant. "For you," he said softly, "to remind you that even in the coldest winters, we have each other." Tears filled Emily's eyes. "It's perfect," she whispered, embracing him tightly. "Thank you for staying, for loving me through everything." That winter, their love became something more profound than the excitement of spring or the heat of summer. It became steady, enduring, and strong, a fire that could withstand frost and snow. They discovered that true love wasn't just about the thrill of beginnings or the passion of heat. It was about loyalty, trust, and resilience. On a particularly cold night, as they walked through the park blanketed in snow, Alex took Emily's hand in both of his. "No matter what comes next," he said, "we'll face it together. Every season, every challenge. We'll endure it all." Emily smiled, feeling warmth spread through her despite the cold air. She realized that love, like life, had seasons, and each one demanded something different. Winter had taught them endurance. It had shown them that love could survive hardship and grow stronger when nurtured with care, patience and unwavering commitment. As they walked home through the glittering snow, their footprints side by side, Emily knew that spring would come again, and when it did, their love would be ready, seasoned, resilient, and ready to bloom anew. The first buds of spring appeared once more, painting the town with soft shades of green and pink. After enduring the challenges of autumn and the harshness of winter, Emily and Alex felt a renewed sense of life, hope, and love. Spring had returned, not just in nature, but in their hearts. This spring felt different from the one when they first met. They had grown together through every season, learning patience, resilience, and the depth of true love. Now, as cherry blossoms once again swirled in the gentle breeze, their love was stronger, steadier, and more beautiful than ever. Alex had been planning a surprise. One sunny afternoon, he led Emily to the park where it all began. The bench where they first met, the same path lined with cherry trees, the gentle hum of life around them, it all felt like home. Emily looked around, curious and smiling, as Alex reached into his bag and pulled out a small wrapped box. "What's this?" she asked, her eyes sparkling. He knelt on one knee, her hands covering her mouth in astonishment. "Emily, from the moment I met you, my life has been brighter, fuller, and more beautiful than I could have imagined. Through every season, spring, summer, autumn, winter, you have been my constant, my joy, my love. Will you marry me?" Tears filled Emily's eyes as she nodded, words catching in her throat. "Yes, yes, Alex!" Of course, yes. As he slipped the ring onto her finger, the cherry blossoms fell around them like a gentle rain of pink petals. It felt like the world itself was celebrating, a perfect reflection of their journey together. Every season had shaped them: the excitement of spring, the passion of summer, the lessons of autumn, and the endurance of winter, all leading to this moment of fulfillment and promise. They embraced under the trees, hearts beating in unison, fully aware of how far they had come. Emily realized that love was not just about fleeting feelings or fleeting moments. It was about commitment, growth, and the willingness to weather life's changes together. In the days that followed, they walked through the park often, hand in hand, smiling at the familiar paths that had witnessed the beginning of their story. Friends and family celebrated their engagement, but the quiet, private moments, just the two of them beneath the blossoms, were the most precious. One afternoon, as they sat on their favorite bench, Emily leaned her head on Alex's shoulder. "Do you remember the first spring we met?" she asked softly. "I do," he said, holding her close. "I remember thinking that life could be ordinary, but you made it extraordinary." Emily smiled, feeling the warmth of the sun on her face and the strength of love in her heart. "And now, after every season, I know that love can endure anything and bloom again, even stronger." Spring had returned, bringing with it new beginnings, but this time it was different. Their love had been tested and proven, like roots growing deep beneath the soil. The petals of the cherry blossoms whispered promises of a lifetime together, of shared dreams, laughter, and the courage to face whatever seasons lay ahead. And as they walked away, hand in hand, Emily and Alex knew one thing for certain: love Like the seasons was a journey, ever changing, ever beautiful and eternal.